quick loosening off before we start.
Okay.
Okay. Yep, good to go. Right. If any questions come up during, just feel free to shout out, let me know, because I don't mind questions. I like questions. So. Let's see. Okay, the light's a bit bad today, sorry. A bit strong. Okay. Right. Onegaishimasu.
Onegaishimasu.
Okay. So just stand shoulder width apart. Find the ground here, just with the feet. Just let the toes stay on the ground. Nice. Loosening of the body. Try and release the knees. Keep the arms nice and loose. So let the head find the center line of the body. So float above the rib cage. As you come down, just let it settle between the 2 feet. Take a couple of deep breaths as you're doing it. Nice deep in through the nose, if you can. Right through the mouth or the nose. Just taking the legs a little bit wider, loosen out arms, hips. Just be careful, don't twist the knees. Keep them nice and relaxed. Let the head stay again around the center line. All right, let's bring in the legs a bit closer, rolling out the hips. Keep one way. And change direction. Great. Bringing the feet together, loosen out the knees. And circle them out. Great. Good. Change in direction. All right, and just roll out the feet, just place the weight into one leg, roll out the foot, the ball of the foot, circling one way. Change in direction. Gently fold the toes over. Just with the ball of the foot gently into the ground. Bring the foot up. Think about spreading the toes so that The best thing is think about the little toe spreading from the big toe. Just let the others spread, release, and then curl the toes, point the foot a little bit. And spreading toes, spread them away. If you want, you can do it with the hands as well. If you want, helps. And then you're going to curl and point. One more time, spreading the toes. Curl and point. Shake it out. Let's sit down. Loosen out the other side. One way. Changing direction. Holding the toes over. Nice and careful. Hold the foot. Make sure find off the ground, spread the toes away. Little toe spread from big toe. Make some space between the other toes. Curl and point. Spread the toes. Little, sorry, 1 second. Oh, there we go. Curl and point. Spread. Yeah. Good. Curl and point. Shake it out. Great. Just find a nice wide position. Let the feet turn out a little bit. Using the hands, trace a line from the hip all the way down the inside of the leg. If you can, go to the ankle. Keep the back long, keep the head up, and then just come back up. Feel like a deep sumo style squat. Just tracing the thigh, the leg, all the way to the ankle, and back up. Sink into the ground. If you want, you can use a little bit of mobility here. You feel the hips are a bit tight, quads to loosen out in a low position. Deep in, keep the back long, head up. Right. It's like the breath coming into a nice deep breath in. Nice deep breath out as you do it. Couple more. Last one. Just hold it down. If you can, take the ankles, just loosen out the hips side to side. Roll through the ankle a little bit. Okay, find the hands on the knees, bring the body back up a little bit. Just start with the kind of cat-cow, cat-cow? Yeah, cat-cow. Sorry, I'll lose my English thing. Roll up and curl through. So think about lengthening both sides, so chin to chest, lengthen down the back of the body. And as you reach up, crown of the head goes to the top of the ceiling, lengthen through the front of the body. So creating space and lengthening. Down the back as you curl in, probably going to breathe out as you do that. And you're going to probably want to breathe in as you stretch up. Yeah, think about both positions as creating space. Lengthening. Just follow your own rhythm, follow your own breath. Couple more times. Come back to a neutral position. Keep the hand pressure on the feet. Just press one leg away, look over the shoulder. Lengthening all the time through the spine. Come back to the center. Lengthen, go to the other side. Just let the breath follow the movement again. So big movements, long breath work. You do it. Couple more each side. Great, coming back into the center, just let the weight shift to one side, release, lengthen one leg, let the weight sink into the bent leg. You can either keep the hips low and shift, or you can come up, shift over, and then drop down. So just play within that range, whatever feels comfortable. And however you feel, you need to kind of mobilize the hips. Staying low is a good one, just open up the hips a little bit. Roll through those positions a little bit. Great. And we'll just hold the position, just take it a little bit deeper, bring the toes up. That side. Use the hands if you need to, or you can use the hands on the ankle, however you want to stretch it out a little bit. Using the hands, walk over to the side. Great, so lengthen out both legs now. Bring the hands around about level with the chest. Spread the legs out. Lengthen down the back of the knees. And just for the start, just let the back be long. So think about the tailbone, the back of the head. One nice lengthened position for the spine. If you can start to hinge the hips down, let the forearms go into the ground. Let the head fall into the arms. Lengthen, relax the head, release the face, the neck. Couple of deep breaths. If it's comfortable, release the arms out of the ground, link them at the back, and just press them over the back of the head. If you're trying to bring the hands over the mat to the front of the head. One deep breath in. Release the breath, bring the hands back if they're over the head. Find the hands again at the front. Keep the hips where they are and just walk the hands out slowly. So just up to the point where you feel like the hands, the fingertips kind of clinging into the ground. Lengthen through the shoulders. The head, tailbone, all the way through the spine. One deep breath. Release it, shift the weight forward into the hands. Bring the legs together at the back into a press-up position or a plank position. And just tread out the feet at the back. We're just going to shift position. Tread the heels at the back. Keep the weight mostly in the hands. Allow your legs to release. And then lengthen down one leg, lengthen it, bring it up. Reach up to the ceiling, place it back down. And then do the same on the other side. Lengthen, bring it up. Let it come down. And just follow your movement. I'll do a couple on each side. Lengthen. And place it back down. Lengthen. Place it back down. One or more on each side. Lengthen. And down. That's one. Lengthen. And down. And then just with the knees, just bending the knees down. Just touch the ground with them and then bring them back. Touch the ground and bring them back. Touch the ground. Bring them back. Touch, back, touch, back, just a couple more. Great, and then just walk the hands back to the feet. Lengthen the torso, the chest down towards the legs. Release the head as much as you can. If you feel comfortable here, you can take the ankles, lengthen through the spine, draw the whole body towards each other, towards the legs. Couple of nice deep breaths. Let the hands find the ground. Press the palms into the ground, release the knees, and then just let the hands slowly, slowly trace up the legs. Keep the spine curled. And as you reach the top of the movement, just let the spine release and curl. And come up long. Great. Good. Just go to the head a little bit and then we'll go to the shoulders. So just take the head side to side, looking over the shoulder. Keep the shoulders, hips neutral. Just find it, go. Find it, go. Good. Look up and down. Again, think about lengthening. Lengthen the back of the head as you go down, lengthen the front of the neck as you come out. And then here to shoulder. Again, think lengthening down, especially this part of the neck. Good. That's it, great. Good. And just the front of the neck, just release out in a circle. Good. Bring the hands onto the back of the head. First one, press into the hand and push the hands forward a little bit. So gentle pressure. Try and feel that you're including the neck in the spine, or the spine in the neck. So as you press forward, feel that the spine gently activates, switches on. Feel that that whole spine is one piece, head all the way to the tailbone. Okay, and then release it. Let the hands just weigh the head down towards the chin to the chest. If you can, bring the elbows just in contact. Let the breath out. And as you breathe in, stretch up and back. Gently pull the elbows back. So you're gently pull the elbows back. Try and keep the spine neutral, so you don't want the leaf just kind of stick out. Let the spine stay neutral, pelvis stays neutral. Press the arms gently back. Come down, bring the chin to the chest. As you breathe in again, come up to that same position, lengthen up, draw the elbows back, and then just gently looking up towards the ceiling. Lengthen through, keep the core engaged, pelvis engaged. Pull the elbows back and look up. Couple of deep breaths in this position. Expanding the rib cage. Lengthening the torso. Good. And release it. Just come to a neutral position. Good. That's all. We'll just do one for the shoulder. So press out. Yep. All the way to the ceiling as if you're pushing the walls apart. Hold that position. Press out. Again, let the spine be neutral. Try and avoid the back breaking at that point. Press the walls apart. And do the same thing with the hands, with the feet, as if you're spreading the ground apart. So spreading the ground with the feet, spreading the hands away. So pulling the ground apart, pulling the walls apart, pressing the walls apart. Good. And then we'll just do one to mobilize the shoulders. Allow yourself to come palms out this way. You're going to roll the shoulders both ways. You probably feel the head wants to kind of twist towards the hand that's going this way. The spiral, just follow it. You can keep the head neutral. Main thing is feel that the arms can fully mobilize. Shoulders really rolling through full range of motion here. That's it. Try and see if you can get it through both arms. So if you think about winding through the joint system, both sides together, and keep that length down the arms. You do it. Just keep doing this for a while. It's a nice one to really mobilize out the shoulder. Good. That's nice. And you should just allow the body to slightly turn towards you. You might feel also the foot wants to go with it. Just follow it. So follow it with the whole body. Follow it with the whole body. Follow with the whole body, but keep predominantly the movement really in the elbow, in the shoulder, the elbow. And let the body kind of roll through that motion as well. So Great. Just a few more here. Full range of motion. Full range of motion. Good. Great. And then just release out the elbows. So find this position. As you go to extension here, just add a little bit of tension in and around the arms. So you can do it this way and keep it kind of soft. That's fine. You can also do it kind of this way. So as you extend out, slightly tension in the fist to create a little bit of a pull through the joints. A little bit of a pull through it. And just allow them to kind of mobilize in with the shoulder a little bit. Allow them to kind of move. Arms kind of move. Arms kind of move any direction. Just circling one way at the moment. And then shift the direction. So you start to go the other way. The other way. Again, apply a little bit of tension in the fist, especially as you bring the arm into full extension. Step. Step. And while it's kind of useful for mobility to kind of lock out the elbow sometimes, and sometimes that's kind of a good position to go to, tends to be not a great position for Aikido. So you can play with it, but also play with a kind of extended arm, which is also has a kind of circularity to it as well. So if you with both, good. And then just focusing on the wrist, just play with, if you've got two figure of eights in front of the body, just trace them. Open up the fingers as well if you like with this one, so you can kind of roll through the fingertips. Try and mobilize the fingers, wrist. Working one way on the circuit. And then shift the direction. A little bit trickier, and the other way. Good. Great. And we're just taking to a few classic wrist stretches, just taking to a Nikyo. Just so you can pulse it on. Now, the main thing is notice when you do it that you don't kind of tense the rest of the shoulder. So just feel that the lock comes on. You'll feel a kind of natural tightening up of the joint. Also see if you can kind of loosen it down. And the key is to feel the weight go down. So the tendency when someone applies a lock, you might feel like this starts to happen. So you can just weigh the body down a little bit. So let the weight sink. Let the weight sink and be kind of soft through it. And be kind of soft and heavy through the movement. Good. Keeping the contact go over to the other side. Yeah, just soften through it. And if you notice something like the shoulder come up, the elbow starts to go up, the neck starts to go tight, just soften, soften, release the weight. So, going into kotegaeshi, thumb on the back, rolling over. And again, just notice, especially with this one, the tendency that the shoulder starts to pop up, the neck starts to go tight. Notice that and just soften into it again. Should feel, even though this is locked, I've still got control in the body, still got weight down. Good. Keeping contact, rolling over to the side, over the hand. And just feel the ground underneath as you're locking the joint. Soften into it, soften into it. Good. Great. And then we'll go into Sankyo. There's a few ways you can get to it. You can just go straight into it. You can also take the thumb in the center of the palm and go up. Whatever works to kind of get that shape in the arm. Find it. And again, notice the tensing now. So the shoulder do something like this. Again, the neck starts to tense away from it. Shoulders naturally raise the position. But again, see if you can loosen the structure in a way where you can feel like you can kind of mobilize. If you think about when someone's really locked the joint, yeah, the risk is they're going to break my arm, my joint. So I need to basically have the body mobilizing. I basically need to protect my own joint system. So, and also it allows me to take a little bit more the technique. If I can kind of weigh down, settle away, my joint becomes a little bit free. I've got a little bit more slack in the joint. And then it's the person's job to remove the slack again. But if I can actually soften my joint system, let weight settle down, calm the body, and actually much more difficult to move. So good. Right, and then coming out to the other side, and just find it, lock it in. And again, just notice that tendency. Try and settle down, soften, and just feel that the body can kind of freely mobilize around it. So good. And I'll do one more with the 𝘱𝘰𝘬𝘪𝘡. So you're going to wrap over the arm. Take the wrist however you can. I take it this way over the top. You can be careful if you take the thumb, because the risk is you can pull the thumb and damage it. You can take the hand this way. You can take it that way. Whichever position you can basically get the lock. Start with the lock basically, which would be like there, where you've got the wrist, the lock on the wrist, the lock on the arm, and the lock on the shoulder. So it's like an outstretched 𝘱𝘰𝘬𝘪𝘡. So before the control, just find that position. Again, notice that the body should still be kind of soft. I still have mobility in the hips. So notice this kind of tendency to the body raise and then I get caught. Settle through it, lock, settle into the ground. And then what I want you to do is think about mobilizing the head and the whole body towards the hand. So keep the hand where it is, mobilize the body, mobilize the body, mobilize the body. And you're going to get to a position where the elbow starts to go up and then just release out a bit slowly. So you're putting the lock on yourself, but you're mobilizing the body into it. Full body mobilizing. You want to end up in a position, if you think of a good 𝘱𝘰𝘬𝘪𝘡, basically where the elbows basically up and basically the spine's being taken away from the hips. Or the shoulder, the arms being taken away from the hips. So just a couple. Okay, lengthen it back out and then unwrap it and then go to the other side. Wrap the joint however you can. Find the arm. Again, just find that lengthened joint, feel the wrist, the elbow, the shoulder start to lock. And then immobilize the whole body towards the hand. Let the elbow go up. Release all the way into it. If you feel comfortable with it, you could also take this down to the ground. I won't go to the ground today. Good, that's so nice. Just a couple more. Okay, great. Go unwrap yourself. Good, just one last one. Take the fingers, lengthen through the elbow. This one, just hold this one, so the finger's going to point towards your center. Elbow, again, notice the tendency for the arm to raise. This all becomes kind of tense. Again, settle the weight down into it. Settle, 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 just hold it. Hold it. Good. Slowly release this one. Go to the other side. Again, find it. Notice the shoulder wants to come up. Soften and settle down. That's it. Good. Slowly release it and just out with the fingertips. Nice fast movement, opening the hands up. Shoot the fingertips out. So great. And last one, making fist. Tighten from the little finger, like you would grip with the bucket. Last one, working with a kokyu position with the hand, and use the other hand, just allow it to roll down the forearm. So keep a good grip, but allow the forearm to kind of rotate and spiral in. So it's going to kind of move through. So if you're taking the kind of fleshy parts, you can allow those fleshy parts to rotate and coil into, and just work your way down. If you find a kind of sore point, especially if you're a lot of sore, you probably feel this part of the arm is a bit sore, it's a bit kind of stiff. So if you feel that there, work in that part a little bit. Tends to be a kind of sore point, especially for people that do a lot of weapon work or even tennis, all these kind of things. So just roll down the forearm, spiral through the arm, play with different positions. Good. Great. Shift the arm into the side. A nice firm grip and allow the forearm to roll through it. Roll through. That's it. Nice, nice. And work up and down the forearm. Work over the top. And again, if you find any kind of sore points, just work them a little bit more. Good. Very nice. Last one, just kind of alternate between the two. So you're going to kind of find a grip, you're going to kind of roll out of it, and then you're going to find a grip on the other side. Roll out of it, find a grip on the other side. So you're going to kind of, you know, like snaking the arms a little bit. So you're rolling through. Think about, you're basically doing like 𝘱𝘰𝘪𝘩𝘦𝘳 techniques in this case on yourself. Think about rolling through and finding a grip. You can also work a little bit on the hands if you like, and you'll end up in like a Sankyo kind of positions or Nikyo positions. Just roll out and find the elbow, escape, or don't escape, roll through it basically. Roll through it, find another grip. Roll through it, find another grip. Roll through it, find another grip. And once you've got it, just play with it a little bit more, kind of flexible. You probably also feel the hips want to kind of go with it as well, just let them go. If you want to move the feet with it, also roll the feet with it as well, let the feet step and move with it. You can take it into a kind of dynamic movement exercise. Focus on the arms, but it's always good to involve the whole body with any kind of exercise, really. So that's so good. Good. That's so nice. Yeah. Good. Super. Okay, we'll shake out the wrists. Really shake them out. Looks out the forearms as well, the elbows. Slight incline of the body, release the shoulders down. And just gradually increase the incline. So let the body go down, let the body go down, release the shoulder more and more. Release the shoulders. And gradually come back up, keep that movement going. And then take it into the whole body. Back to this kind of impulse we started with. Just check in with the whole body again. And then just a few kind of sharper breaths. So you take a breath in and just breathe it out. Let the weight settle in between. Good, and just let the body settle down. Great. Good. Take a bokken. We've got some super work. So let's see where we are. Great. Okay. Okay, good. So just start straight in with the first word. Just allow yourself to slice through. So in this case, you're going to reach the back and say, wait, pause at the top, and then just slice through it. Really allow the body to settle. So it's not a loosening exercise, in the case it's kind of loosening the body. Everything stays nice and strong, but you just release the cut down to the ground. So don't think about stopping the cut at all. Just release through it. If you feel like the hand wants to release, just let it go. But keep the legs especially really in the ground. So just really kind of grounding exercise. Really allow the weight or all the attention to go. What's going on in the legs, basically. So the weight shifting back into the left leg and then equalizing into the cut. Shifting back into the left foot and then equalizing into the cut. Big, strong, powerful movement, but you're just releasing the cut out. Good. That's it. Okay, great. Okay, just play with this as a shoulder width movement, square posture with it. So what I want you to notice is try and get this to be really a pure downwards movement. So in this case, what I don't want to do is pull the body forward, because if I do that, the weight just shifts forward and I fall forward. So when you do this one, it's a bit like a woodcutter's action. Come up, find the spine in the same way, and then relate everything down. Okay, so everything just goes boom, down. So in this case, there's no forward motion, apart from the really, really subtle hinge at the hip, so a subtle hinge. So I don't allow the back to stay on the vertical line, but every part of the move is basically related down to the ground. So the top of the spine here in the ground, and then release into the ground. Very, very subtle hip hinge, but all the movement basically relating down into the feet. Down into the feet. Try and let everything just hit the feet, basically. Yeah, that's it, that's it. Yeah, and you can take this really deep as well, so you could also bend the knees with this. Really, really like a deep squat position. Yes, that's it, that's it. Yeah, 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 good. So there's one big issue with sword work, which is this asymmetrical grip position. So just be careful in this case. Watch this. If you push the shoulder forward, this kind of position, then I basically split the body in two, and then I basically end up with a twist through the spine. This does happen later, but if you think about what I'm doing is I'm keeping this position and I'm allowing the triangular posture of the feet to basically find the shoulder forward. What I don't want to do is like push the shoulder forward to do it. So in this case, it's a tricky position because the hand is actually in front, so you are in an asymmetrical grip position. Naturally, the front shoulder will be more forward, but try and avoid twisting too much, or basically pushing that shoulder forward. Focus on basically equalizing the shoulder so that it just kind of sits back. It might be useful as well just to really release the arm as well, so that it doesn't have to be in that position. But again, notice the tendency to twist the shoulder out. So just allow it to settle back. You will get a natural inclination forward of the right shoulder. It's totally fine. And it's due to that kind of asymmetrical position of the body, but try and find a kind of balance in that asymmetry. And if I feel like that's happening, just allow yourself to pull the shoulder back a little bit. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, 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 good. Nice. Nice. Very nice, good. Good. Take it back to the first degree. So you're back in with the leg work, find this position, and then again, relate everything down. So you're entering this kind of triangular position now, but try and avoid again now, in this case, pushing the body forward. Just allow the hand me now to drop forward, and again, relate the whole movement down. So it's really a grounding practice. It's to ground the body really into a balanced position, trying to avoid pushing the body out of balance. So find the back fully, and then whole body goes down. Find the back fully, and then whole body just grounds into the floor. Yes. So this is a kind of primary action of anything we're doing is basically with the ground. So allowing gravity to just act through the weapon, aligning the body to the ground. Yes, very nice. Good. Good. Yeah, great. And then think about settling the move. So this is now much more about balance. Again, this really brings the front and back dimension up. So as you do it now, just settle the cut, just level with the hip. Keep a full motion, but avoid adding power to it for now. Just play with bringing it down and settling it. So it's just as if you're kind of slotting the sword into the hip work. So the hips are allowed to find the ground just before, and then I just allow the sword to sit into it. Think about classic kind of tiny henko position. This, so that you let the hips settle, and just drop the sword into it. And it should just feel that it's settle on the feet, settle on the hip. You've got a roundabout horizontal position with the sword in relation to the ground. And again, think that you're drawing the sword into the hip work. Yeah, good. So just a couple more. Just going to watch. Okay. 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 Just play this one exercise. So it's just like this, just with the hands. What you're going to do is spread the hands at the top, and then think about creating a wedge in front of the body. So you're going to draw them down with the hip, and just allow the hands to naturally meet at that point. So it's not a kind of Aikido position. In this case, you would be somewhere in a tiny angle. You want the hands to be a bit wider. But just think about this. You've got the hands spreading up to the top, shoulders full, and then as you come down, think about dropping into a wedge. So it's like a big triangular V in front of the body. And just going to allow the hands to find that position. Now, notice where you naturally want to put the hands. You might naturally want to put the hands here, which in the case of sword, just too high. And in the case of here, it's too low. So the body's getting pulled out. So try and find a position where you're basically resting the hands just above your hip. So it's just really where your center line is, or where the center of the body is. And just starting to kind of create a V in front of the body. So come up and then drop the hip in. Come up and drop the hip in. And it's a feeling like you're really wedging into a triangle. Yeah. That's it. Yeah, good. 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 That's it. Good. Nice. Good. So with that feeling, go back to the sword. Again, look for now this kind of wedge. So as you come down, you're doing the same feeling. You're kind of wedging the body into this. Wedging the body down. And again, notice if I'm too high with it, I'm going somewhere like that, or I'm trying to do this, or if I'm too low with it, I'm basically getting pulled down. So find the correct position. Again, it's your position for your body, but it's trying to again wedge the whole body in to that kind of front of you. Boom, something's kind of dropping in this way. So it's basically trying to find the correct extension for your body, basically. And useful to copy the teachers, obviously, all the time, but basically need to find my own way with this. Yeah, that's nice. Good, great. Good. Great, and that just starts to add the power in, so you're just going to focus on now bringing the hands together at the end of the cut. So find, again, you're wedging the cut in, and then strong feeling through the end of the sword. Strong feeling through the end of the sword. There. So find the back, settle, and engage, cut. Find the back, settle, and engage and cut. And you're looking for, again, balance is the first thing. Balance in the body. Good. And don't be afraid to add power into it as well. A little bit of power is good. It's going to teach you a lot about where the body's balanced. Okay, good. Nice. Each. Good. Nice. Okay, good. We'll just do one exercise. Keep the bokken in the left hand, just for the arm. So it's just one exercise which is going to get the arm in order, basically. So find the top of the head with the hand here, just cutting through the back of the head. And then the rule is this: I can't move the hand without engaging the hip. So I can't do this and then the hip. So what I've got to do is basically only engage the hip, and then you're going to basically drag the hand off the head. So it's going to look something like this. So roll up with the hip. The two part, we'll focus on the downwards element, the downwards part of the exercise. So it's this. Think about the hip, and then the hip gonna engage and drag the arm off the body. That's it. So the hip's gonna drag the arm off. Hip's going to drag the arm off the top of the head. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, good. Nice. Good. Nice. Now focus on the upwards part. Same rule applies. I can't move the arm without engaging the hip, so I can't do this. That's a kind of error for me. So this. Think about the hip, basically. And so I'm trying to make this really big, but think about the hip. Hip engage, hip pulls the hand up, and then hip pulls the hand down. Hip pulls the hand up, hip pulls the hand down. So you're trying to get the order where the hip is basically, I would say, dominating the hand, but actually the hand's just going to follow the hip work. But the first step is getting the hand not to not to initiate the movement. Yeah, good. So spend a long time, especially in the beginning of our training, like coordinating hands and feet. And sometimes we end up kind of locking them together. And sometimes we end up with a hand actually starts to lead the movement in that case. The center gets kind of left behind. So get the hip really controlled. Nice. Very nice. Yeah, very nice. Good. So try and do this now flexibly. We'll do the same with the saw, but just do it with the hand first. So as you reach the top of the head, engage the hip down. So you don't need to do this fast, and it's sometimes better not to do it fast. But think about again, engaging the body, engaging the body. As soon as you feel the hand basically touch the top of the head, start to engage the hip forward. So I'm trying to make this big so that it's clear. A little bit too big, but as soon as the hand hits the head, engage the hip through. So you don't want to now pause at the top and then engage. Just try and find something a little bit more elastic, which is coming to the top and engaging down. Coming to the top and engaging down. You can also do like half of the movement as well. So if you get kind of a bit stuck with this, think about just the initiation part of it and then just find that. But again, the key is that the hip basically controls the hand. The hand's going to follow the hip work. Once you feel like that's there, you can make the movement a bit fuller, make it move a bit fuller, make it move a bit fuller, make it move a bit fuller. But you're looking for a little bit of kind of elastic quality in the body now. Yeah, that's it. Nice. Good, Scott. Yes, great. Good. Good. Nice. Good, and then same thing with the bokken. So find it here. You're just going to look for, again, you can do a partial cut, in which case we look something like this, but if you can, see if you can basically take it all the way to the back and engage into the cut. All the way to the back and engage into the cut. So the hip basically doesn't stop now. And again, you're looking for balance in the body, especially now. Notice the body starts to go forward with it. See if you can really get the feeling that that movement where you find the back of the head and the back of the spine is really to engage the spine into the cut. So feel that movement, spine's full, engage the cut forward. Spine's full, engages the cut forward. So you're trying to basically cut from the spine. That's the whole purpose of that backwards movement, apart from centering in the spine, centering the body, is to really engage the cut from the back. Nice. Very good. Really nice. Great, very nice. Oh, right, come on. Good. Just so they can bounce, got a few minutes. Play with the 𝗧𝗰𝗪𝗪𝗪. So you're looking for right and left movement. Keep this now as one motion now. So you've got the cut here, which would be a full cut. And then just think about releasing over the back, finding the K. Really allow us to make it a full, or make it one motion. So try and avoid kind of stopping at the spine. You don't need to find the back on this exercise. Just allow yourself to find the top of the head, engage down. Find the top of the head, engage down. Again, your focus is really on the hip, engaging, engaging, engaging the cut all the time. So that all that connection work we've done, try and really bring it into motion now. And feel free to play with the footwork as well. You don't need to necessarily do 180 degrees. Useful as an exercise, but feel free to cut around the room if you like. Nice set. Very nice. Very nice. Good. Good. We'll just finish a couple of minutes just with a 𝘏𝑘yu exercise with the hands. So bokkens to the side. Just play with basically keeping the sword alive in the hand. So you're going to do this kind of movement with the hands. This kind of movement. Again, that feeling you're kind of funneling the body forward into it. Full strong 𝘏𝑘yu. And play with again, rotating through to the back and finding another 𝘏𝑘yu shape. Rotating through to the back, finding a 𝘏𝑘yu. Rotating, finding a 𝘏𝑘yu. Try and feel you're full all the time. So the thing to avoid with this exercise is this 𝘏𝑘yu full feeling and then release it. 𝘏𝑘yu full feeling, release it. Think that as you go through all the time, all the movements are full of extension, full of spiral work, full of sword work. So not an exact replica of the sword movement, but the feeling in the body is the sword. So the feeling is cutting through the space with the arms, the hands, and the body. Mobilize, go. Mobilize. So good. Nice. Good. So we'll just bring the body back into the still point here, just here. Just focus on this. You've got the sword work here. We'll just do one exercise to finish. Sword work which we do with the arms this way. We're just kind of cutting straight down the line this way. Now think about the translation into 𝘏𝑘yu work. I can keep that, but it's a bit too linear. So what I'm going to do is basically start to open the hands out. So I'm going to have that feeling, have that mobility in the wrist, the forearm, and I'm going to basically start to open it out. Open it out. If you think about like 𝘬𝘰𝘯𝑥, all these kind of exercises, they work with the sword, but you're in a much more opened out position. So you're using the full range of motion of the body and not limiting it to this kind of position. So it's something a little bit more circular. As you come out, open out, there. Now have that feeling as you come out from the center, open out, and then choose a side. Again, a little bit like you would do with 𝘬𝘰𝘯𝑥. You come up, you choose a side, and you press through it. A little bit like you would do there. So roll up, find that kind of spreading of the arms, and then 𝘏𝑘yu, and then basically choose a hip. Let the body go with it. You could take that into a feeling like you would do with like an 𝘵𝑗𝑰𝑜. You take it to a feeling like you would do with a 𝘏𝑗𝑦𝑛𝑒𝑔𝑒. But these kind of feeling where you're kind of coiling through the whole system again. And do it really with that feeling of the sword. The sword never really goes, just gets slightly adapted to working with a kind of spiraling all through the body. So that's the last few. Reach up, roll, boom. This becomes this, becomes this. That's it. That's it. Last 20 seconds or so, just the last breathing exercise. So just find the feet, just allow the arms kind of naturally come up. Nice deep breath in. And naturally kind of coil down and breathe out. Let the arms spread. Breathing in. Reaching up to the top. Let the arms rotate down. Let the breath go. And down. Last one. And out. And out. And just let the body settle. And the shoulder width apart. Nice and natural. Good. Super. Okay, we'll bow up. Great. どうもありがとうございました。
どうもありがとうございます。
Okay. Great. Thank you very much. If you have any questions or anything